It seems like the whole LGBTQ plus, that issue is like so new, when in reality, it has been around since the beginning of time. With that said, I will tell you that I was so naive, I just didn't know. When I was in high school, I had no clue what gay was, absolutely no clue. It's when I was in college that one of my friends said, hey, I need to tell you something. And in that moment I went, okay, but it doesn't change who you are, and it didn't change the relationship that we had. All right, Sharon, when did you first realize what this thing called gay was?
So many gay people that were in the design field, interior design, which I branched off into as a job. We became such friends that they let me stay with them during the week and I go home on the weekend. Well, then I was exposed to the Dianas through them.
You spent a lot of time in Montrose, which you said was such a happy place because you saw your friends able to be who they are.
Montrose was like a cocoon. It was a wonderful place, but you had to be very careful. The police were not on our side.
People literally had to hide.
You entertained in your home, and that was it. And you did go out to the bars, and you did have a lot of fun, but you had to be very careful.
You are what they call one of the early allies.
It seems like the guys just adopted me.
You mentioned the guys because at the time we focused a lot on gay men, but as we know, there is a growth in that community. You're one of the ones responsible for adding some letters, Gianna, the T. So you're the newest member, first trans person elected.
I grew up out in Cypress, Texas, so here in the Houston area. I actually graduated high school 20 years ago. My high school reunion's this weekend.
You were joking that when they start voting, like when they say most this, most this, most that, what are you going to get?
Most change.
Yeah, right.
But it was, it was a difficult time. Obviously, there were a new representation of lesbian and gay people in television. Will and Grace was on TV. Ellen had come out. There wasn't a lot of representation of trans people. Trans might be a new issue to some people. Trans people have been part of this community and been participating, and even in organizations like the Dianas since the very beginning. It's just that we've just become part of the national conversation, but we've been vital parts of the LGBTQ plus community since the very beginning.
You grew up also seeing the impact of the Dianas.
Yes.
What were those memories for you?
My first Diana event was a kickoff for the Zoo Ball, like in 2007. So I was like 20 years old. I was just about to transition, and I was trying to find out who I was in the world. And I saw all these amazing older LGBTQ plus people living these full lives, and they were laughing with each other and drinking and having these amazing lives, and I just wanted to be part of that.
Craig, I found out about the Dianas through you, by the way. Craig McLemore used to be our makeup artist on Great Day Houston, and we would just have all kinds of conversations. But oftentimes we'll ask somebody their coming out story, and you have a unique perspective when someone says to you, well, how did you come out to your parents?
So when people ask me that question, they'll say, well, how did you tell your parents you were gay? Yeah. I just look them in the eye and say, how did you tell your parents you were straight? People know.
Yeah.
And still no reason to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
When they know, they know. And
your parents never had to have that conversation, and have always loved and supported you.
Loved me, supported me, accepted me.
Yeah.
And all they wanted was for me to be happy.
Fortunately, that you have that story, right? As we know, a lot of people in the queer community or LGBTQ plus community don't have that good of a story, right? Of that support.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And then this thing called HIV/AIDS came about. How did that impact your life?
It was very impactful to me at 22 years old, when I've been making friends with these older people that were in this community and this organization, and then all of a sudden I'm losing friends, going to funerals and to the AIDS epidemic. Being part of the Dianas, I wasn't a member at that time, but I was a follower and was able to participate in one of the big, fabulous award shows that we had at that time.
Tanner, you are the current president. We've talked about the Dianas quite a bit right here. Now let's back up and explain how this group came about. It's kind of one of the first advocacy groups of its kind, right?
And there is the marquee, and down there in front of the theater, So a group of people still coming in, Tony Curtis and Janet Lee.
We have to go all the way back to 1953 when the Academy Awards was first broadcast on television. And a group of gay people in the community, a small group, went out and bought a new television. They wanted to host a little viewing party. These are like some of the local florists, interior designers, models from the Sakowitz department store. Broadcast lost reception, so they started making up some of their own funny, roasty awards. So they all came back together. The party was a little bigger in 1954. So before the broadcast started, they gave away their first official Diana Award for a roast for someone's mischievous behavior. And ever since then, the organizations continued the Diana Awards, which began as a comedic roast, and eventually we moved away from the Academy Award broadcast, grew into these big, large productions.
Although you could start out saying it was just this kind of fun party, what it really became was a safe space.
So whenever folks were having their house parties, right, you would have maybe nosy neighbors saying, there's a large group of men in this home, what's going on? So women and men would pair up and as kind of like cover for each other at the party. So these parties were kind of balanced. So even the Dianas, again, were open to men, women, etc. But we were creating a space where people could come together, have fun, build fellowship, build community, and we continue to do that. I'm so grateful for this organization, the members, and the community who supports us to make sure that we continue to have a safe space for our folks in our community. This organization is here, has been here, and will continue to be around.
For someone who's struggling with their identity and scared that someone's going to find out, what's your best advice for them when they're not ready to reveal that?
Seek out, you can contact even the Diana Foundation. We'll help put you in touch with someone if you need to talk.
And Craig, for you, your message to any parents who may be struggling with their child?
Just be patient. Listen, open your arms and your eyes, most importantly.
Because your child didn't change, it's still your child.
No, it's the same little person that you brought into this world.
Yeah.
They were always this person.
When it comes to the trans community, there are people who still just struggle more with that, and what you have to say to them, because I'm looking at a human being right now.
And I think that's the thing. I think trans people are easy to hate in the abstract. What I've told most people is that when people meet me one-on-one, they're kind to me, because I believe that most people are kind. It is difficult to hate something that you know. When you know Gianna, when you know my friends, you can't hate individuals, but people just don't know trans people, or they don't know that they know trans people.
To end things, I'm really going to need you to share with me how fun those parties were. No, I'm joking.
She signed many NDAs.
Yeah, she did.
I'll tell you later.
You'll tell me later.